Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. If you have watched Walker Tea Review before, well, you know that I'm Jason Walker, and you know that I often go with the aspect that there's no, or there's not only one right way to prepare a tea. And to kind of build on that idea, I thought we're going to be looking at a matcha today, and I thought with the idea of no one single, only one right way of doing things, I thought let's explore a little bit with a matcha, and or a matcha powder, I should say, matcha style, and talk a little bit about what to do if you don't have a lot of elaborate type equipment, or you're in an office situation or some other place where you just don't have your usual equipment. So let's talk a little bit about that, and let's go ahead and prepare this tea. Now, for a matcha, which is a powdered style of Japanese green tea, a couple of advantages. One, you're ingesting the entire leaf, so you're getting some of the additional health benefits, or purported health benefits of the tea leaf. And to talk about what kind of basic equipment I've got, what kind of equipment is more necessary or more interchangeable. Couple of things that we have. I've just got a basic clear heat tolerant clear bowl here. What else do I have? This is something that I would say is quite useful, and that is the actual whisk, the chasen. That is used a bamboo whisk. Helps to build up a good froth. Now you could use a teaspoon, or you could use a bamboo scoop that often comes with some of your matcha sets. Another thing that I think is quite useful is a strainer, a sifter. Powders can have some clumps in them, and I find that it's very helpful if those clumps are broken up and you get a nice even powder. So let's go ahead and kind of get started here. I've got my water, and it's been brought to not quite a boil, below a boil, but I do want to let that cool off, because a lot of Japanese green teas and powders like this do better with lower water temperatures. So this, by pouring into a pitcher, that allows the water to cool a little bit more, it also gives me an idea of just about how much tea I'm actually preparing here, or how much water I'm going to be working with. So I look at that and I think I want that to be pretty strong, so I'm going to take out one scoop, and that's going to be like an almond-sized scoop. And I'll take out another scoop, just because I do like it. I do generally prefer it on the stronger side. Now, I want to kind of work that through. I want to tap that so that it does sift fairly evenly. There are two ways that, two things that can cause a tea or a powder like this to clump up. One is moisture, of course. The other, I've been warned against static electricity. Static, even in a dry environment, static can create some clumps. And actually, I've got some little pieces there that I'm glad I used my sifter, because they're just not going through. Okay, so set that aside. That's why I would say the sifter is valuable. I'm going to get out my whisk here, and I'm going to get out my bowl. Now, I am going to talk about this tea in just a moment, but I do want to go ahead and prepare. Clear bowl actually also lets you look at the tea as I prepare here. So I'm using kind of W type strokes here. Pour my water slowly so I can build up some good froth. Got some good bubbles. That's looking good actually already. I'm liking that appearance. Okay, now that should have dissolved. That should have worked in quite well. So let me kind of tap the whisk off there. And let's talk about this tea before I get too far into this. Let that dissolve a little bit more. Let the temperature bring down, because I find that cooler Japanese greens often have a little bit stronger or a little more smoother flavor, fuller flavor. So this tea, this is from MellowMonk. This is there, and I'm reading from the label here, matcha style powdered green tea. Why is it called matcha style? Because a lot of matchas come from gyokuro. Gyokuro being a tree, a shade-grown tea varietal. I should say a shade-grown tree tea. During the last, I found some references say 1 week, some say 2 weeks, but a period of 1 to 2 weeks prior to the harvest, the tea is shaded. And there are different varietals that are used, specific varietals to say. On the other hand, this is a matcha style because one, it's a varietal that's more often used with senchas. That's probably the primary difference, is that it's not the varietal generally used for gyokuro and therefore matcha. What else? This is it's from Kyushu Island. It's an area that's known for senchas, and it is a, let me get this word correctly, tamaryoku-cha, which is a roughly translated something like curly green. It's they can go through some different processes there as well, as far as the steaming or the pan firing that goes into that. Again, this MellowMonk's matcha style powdered green tea, 95 grams for $16.95 on their website currently. Other notes, I mean, we could talk about the dry leaf, but it's a powder. There's not going to be a lot of things to evaluate on that. You're going to look at the powder itself. It's going to be, this one, I would tend to say that yes, this one is slightly lighter in color. It's a little bit more yellow-green than some of your gyokuros that can be darker in color. But again, that's minor differences there. It has more of a sencha type smell, so it's a bit more of a sweeter, kind of light citrus element there as well. What else? A note on package engineering, I should say. If you purchase this particular style, a note would be you want to find another container to place this in, because it has a zip top closure, but if you are able to ever reseal, you have made quite an achievement. It's not that easily done it's not a very I was not very successful personally in being able to reuse that seal top. So that takes care of our dry leaf. Our wet leaf, we have nothing to look at because it's all been dissolved into our bowl here. So we're going to go on to our liquor. I'm going to kind of shake this up because it has settled somewhat, so I do want to kind of, and again, this is something, if you are away from your whisk, you may want to explore just kind of gently swirling your liquor here in a circular motion to get that circulated, dissolved, because you're seeing a bright, a very thick green color there. Okay, so let's go ahead. It's got a nice warm, toasty element to it, actually. So that's a positive note. I mean, there's something kind of baked vegetable, not a leafy green, but more like if you put green beans on a grill or asparagus on the grill. Something along those lines is coming out. One more try. Sometimes with a matcha, I can get a heavy metallic type texture. This one is a little bit lighter in the metallic. There is a faint sense of a metallic aspect towards the back, but compared to others, it's a lot smoother. As that metallic kind of fades away, you're left with in the back and kind of the upper part of the back here, near your cheekbones, you're getting a buttery, sweet kind of texture there. So it's got a bit of a creaminess coming out, standing out more towards the later elements. The actual tea itself, it does resemble more of a sencha, of course. So it's going to have more of a green vegetable component, a little bit of a bit of a spinach there, a bit of a leafy green, even a kale green type, a kale or a mustard aspect there as well. So that's a positive element going for it. Combine that with just a few drops of lemon. There is still that kind of citrusy type component there as well. Different from matchas, other matchas that often have a kind of a seaweed, marine type component to it. So the texture, again, it does have a light powderiness to it. It's not overly astringent. There is some astringency that does come out midway, so you swallow. First you get a little bit of a metallic astringency, and then that draws back, and that's, like I said, that more of the sweetness appears. So looking at this tea as a whole, I cannot compare it to other matchas because it's a matcha style, not necessarily a matcha in the traditional full sense of the term. At least as far as the varietal and selection of and source of tea goes there. So looking at this tea, yes, it does have some charming qualities to it. It resembles a sencha. It resembles a nice sencha, to be more precise. So I would give this tea an 89. It's got some good qualities to it. Again, I can't really say, I don't want to say that it's competing with other matchas though. So again, come back and join us. Look at ways to, what make do, experiment with tea equipment. You saw that I was using a nice clear bowl today. And I should have mentioned one other thing, was that by doing so, you want to pick a wider bowl, or a wide enough bowl so that you can actually do your mixing inside. If it's too narrow, you can't have enough room to move your whisk, your chasen. So come back and join us at Walker Tea Review, and we'll try new teas and new ways of making those teas together.